Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Kat, known as phamerina.planning here on YouTube and on Instagram. And today's video is a plan with me for the week of July 14th through July 20th using this kit called Serendipity from Starlight Paper Studio, foiled in light gold. I think she just does light gold, but foiled in gold. That she released in. She re-released. This is a re-release of her original Serendipity kit. She released this in 2024. I fell in love with the colors of this kit, the blue and the yellow. It's a very different vibe from when she first released this kit. I'll try to link the haul because that's when I talk about it. But I I explained this in my Instagram stories. I was like, for someone who doesn't really listen to BTS, I have a lot of BTS kits. And I think that's because in this community, in this realm, this subset, uh the most unapologetically Asian, right? We have fashion dolls, we have fashion people that will look Asian per se, but like the kits themselves might not necessarily encompass Asian culture. I'm speaking broadly because BTS is a Korean group, I'm Vietnamese, but like in general, and the broad strokes here, um, like K-pop kits are kind of like the closest, and I feel like I can always rely on my girl Sita at Starlight Paper to give me kits that reflect her interests and her culture, um, or just aspects of this side of the world, I guess is how I'll say that broadly. Um, it's not like a bad thing. I'm just saying that this is a very niche type of subject, and Starlight Paper really leans into it because she is part of that community. I guess that's how I'll say that. Um so yeah, that's that. Other housekeeping thing. I swapped this kit. So I swapped the third week in July and the fifth week in July for reasons. Just circumstances. Also, it also made so the original let me backtrack a little. The original reason why I had this in the fifth week of July was that's because it was my cousin's birthday. Her birthday is in that week, and she's a BTS fan. However, this is due to circumstances and the fact that this is the week that my family, excluding myself and my husband, um, they went on a trip to Myrtle Beach. It made more sense to use a kind of brighter, happier kit for this week versus Summer Storm, which is a little more suitable for the end of July. But we will get into that when we get there. Um, but yeah, so if you're like, not that I expect anybody to remember my kit lineups, but if you just like watch that or something, um, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what you had here. Yeah, no, it's not what I had here. I had to move it for circumstances. So yeah, so that's that, and then let's see, what shall I talk about? So I knew one of the first things I wanted was to have um the scene with Jimin. Oh, I guess I should explain what Serendipity is. Serendipity is a song by BTS member Jimin. It's broadly speaking a love song, but it's a song about how um you can find a one in a million love serendipitously. Serendipity is kind of like chance, it's a chance meeting or something fortunate happening. So I know for my sidebar, I wanted to have that the air that art with Jimin sitting on the cliff and looking up longingly at the universe, as part of my month call out. Um, if you look, that there's the other reason I fell in love with this kid is the kitty. And I explained this in my Instagram stories also. So apologies if you're hearing it again. But there is a lyric in the song that is vague, like loosely translates to something like, "I am your calico cat, here for you. Um, and love me now, touch me now." So those are like like the translated lyrics. Um, and you're like, that's kind of a weird way to say that, right? Um, However, if you know anything about cat genetics, um, if you remember your biology, high school biology or college biology, calico cats come about because of the X chromosome. Um, what happens is that one like so female cats when they're female are two X's, very much like humans are two X's if you are assigned, if you have if you're assigned a female sex at birth. um so cats are the same way. Cats are, they have double X's if they are female. So generally speaking, this is very broad. um who knew I was going to be getting into science with this one? I was very interested in genetics. I wish I pursued it when I was in college, but alas, here I am, with my biochemistry degree. um the color of a cat's fur, or for some breeds, um is expressed through the X chromosome. So calico cats are generally speaking what, like brown, orange, and black, white. So an X chromosome will express one or the other. So generally speaking, why am I going into science? um Usually only one X is present at a time, in this in the cat's fur, in certain patches. So one X will be present at the time. So if a cat has like an X for brown and an X for black or orange, um the pockets of the fur that are orange, that means the X that is orange is being expressive, while the X that expresses black fur is not expressing. So long story short, long story short is that you can only have, well, generally speaking, genetically speaking, calico cats are female because you need two X's to be a calico cat. So back to how I got here in the first place is Jimin, who presents himself as male. Um, for him to be a calico cat, for him to say that he is your calico cat, like, you can have theoretically a male calico cat that is XXY, right? It's it's uh expressive. It has male genitalia, but it has two X's, so it is a male with two X's, which is a very rare genetic anomaly. Wow, who thought we'd be talking about this? Um, so for him to say that he is your calico cat is for him to say that he is your one in a million. He is your genetic lottery. He is your soulmate. He is the one for you, and you are the one for him. It's a really like strange way to talk about like soulmates. And like, this is the thing about like poems, I guess, and like literature, that it like goes over my head usually. Like, all of that symbolism is so like nuanced and deep. I'm just like, how do you people come up with these things? Like the lyric, "I am your calico cat, here for you," is just like, what? what makes you think that in the first place? So that's why there's a calico cat on here. I mean, and this other imagery is sorry, I who knew this is what we were going to be talking about today. This imagery is all from like the music video. What I find very fascinating, I guess is maybe how I'll say it, about this imagery, is how even though it's so bright and happy and cheery, at the same time, it's also very lonely in a sense. It's also very contemplative. There's a lot of imagery like Jimin looking up into space, or just images of him in a really small, like him small in like this big vast area. um so I find that very um fascinating, um with how people come up with these concepts and like are just like, we're gonna put together a music video, and this is what I want running through, like this is the theme and this is how I want you to express the theme. This is my thesis, this is what I'm trying to get across. um and like, as someone who took acting, who did a little bit of theater back in college, and who was really fascinated, like for me when it came to acting, what I was really fascinated with was like motivation, character motivation, and how characters would try to what actions they would take to get the other person to do what they want, whether it was for them to feel a certain way, whether it was for them to go and pick up a cup of milk, whether like what that person did, what their motivation was, and how they achieve their motivation was always like the part that fascinated me about theater and acting. um Actually, I was vaguely, like not vaguely, I was actually more intrigued with the directing part, because for my, well, I didn't get a theater degree, but in the track, um you had to take directing also. You had to do a directing class. And honestly, I found directing to be so much more interesting, um because even though the actor is the person on the stage or on the screen, the director is how these pieces come together and how they interact. So the director is realistically the 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 crux of how a story is told, right? You can have amazing actors, you can have the most amazing set, costume, sound design, all of that stuff, but if your director is not clear in their vision, and does not articulate their vision well, um the show falls apart, the movie, the scene, whatever it is, it all falls apart because the vision's not clear. So to tie back to what I was talking to is like the fact that these these young men, realistically, because I know I'm fairly certain they're younger than me, um have such clear artistic vision and have a story they want to tell, and are so articulate in how they say it, in how they compose these lines, and how they um maybe they're not the ones necessarily um saying, this is the story of the music video, but I would imagine that they have some input. I feel like BTS is one of those groups, and the members of that group who are really um thoroughly integrated into every aspect of their art, um of their craft. So I mean, I don't know if you know, you could tell me. I'm genuinely interested, and I guess I could look it up. But I feel like Jimin definitely had his hand in how this music video came together. Um I mean, I could be wrong, but just based on like my exposure to the group and how And I know quite a few members of this community who are Army, and I talk to them on a somewhat regular basis, and I get confused about how much they love them. But like at the same time, I'm not gonna yuck somebody else's yum, and I think I get it. I'm just not part of that group. Um, because I can understand if someone's has invested so much of themselves into their craft, um, you feel that as a listener, as an audience member, as a fan, um, you feel that, and that's the part that resonates with you. Um, so yeah, who knew we were going to be talking about artistry and genetics in this video? uh yeah, so that's what that's not what serendipity is about, but serendipity is like a cute little love song. um and I find the imagery very fascinating. I just love the colors of this kit. um it's not a very typical color palette that we see very often, and of course you know how much I love Sita's very specific style. So um yeah, if you have any questions about the base or what I did or where stickers came from, please feel free to ask because I didn't explain any of it. But you know, that's how we get here. On to the day by day. I started off with a coffee Monday. I have a note here that says I went to Dunkin' that day. We also freezer inventory transfer. We did that on Monday. We must have, okay, yeah. We had to move some inventory from a one freezer, a -20, to a different -20. The thing is, when you put frozen things into a different freezer, the temperature rises just because, you know, it's got an ambient level of cold, and then you put something in and it, well, it doesn't absorb the cold. It releases whatever heat it had, because when you take it out of the freezer, it's going to warm up a little bit. And when you put it in the freezer, it's going to release whatever heat it has. So the temperature goes up. And you don't want it to go too far up because then your stuff starts to thaw. So then you have to wait. So we waited till Monday just so that we can monitor the freezer. On, on, then I had some Happy Mail, and I did an Insta haul. So I got some Happy Mail from JK Creates Co. that day. On Tuesday, we had a fill. Oh, did I talk about this? Okay, I don't really want to go into too much detail, but it was a compassionate use fill for a drug product that may or may not work. Compassionate use means that um it's a last ditch effort. So, long story short is that we should not be surprised if this drug does not work. Um so I don't know if I make a note of it, but yeah, it did not work, but we knew that going into it that there was a possibility that it wouldn't. So that's what compassionate use is. The hubby barbecued some burgers on the grill, and then I spent some time in my bujo. On Wednesday, I had a Dr. Coffee run. I got my Huntrix shirt. I love K-pop Demon Hunters, man. And then I make dinner that night. Where are we at on here? I'm still behind. On Thursday, I had a good documentation practices training in which I got 100%. Go me. We had pho and boba for dinner. We did some gross. Oh no, I'm caught up. Sorry, I thought I was a little bit later in the video. Okay, I can back up a little bit. So, good documentation practices is very important in my line of work. I work in manufacturing. So good documentation practices ensures um basically the philosophy in my line of work is if it's not documented, it didn't happen. And then you want your documentation to be super clear so that there's no questions, because you know, if you see scribbles on a paper, you might be like, hey, what's going on there? So it's very critical that you follow proper GDP so that there's no question about um, whether your procedures were followed to a T. So I got 100% on my GDP exam. They do the little test to make sure you're paying attention and you actually like understand these things. Um, then we had pho and boba tea for dinner that night, and Oh, that's because we went grocery shopping. If we usually go grocery shopping, we're gonna just stop and get some. We're gonna go out to eat rather than cook because it's too much work to cook. And do grocery shopping at the same time. On Friday, oh my goodness, thank God. I have here in my notes, thank God it's Friday. I don't remember this week being particularly bad. Um, hold on. Where is I made a note when I found it in August? Why did I think I found out when I had the kid in July? Oops, I misspoke in that video. It's fine. Um, but thank God it was Friday, because Friday is also Panera Day. There's a Panera that opened up near work and it's really bad. I tell myself I can only get it once a week. um, and then I got some Happy Meal from Dash of Sun. Was this July? Oh, July. This might have been a Sunny special. Probably the Sunny special. Why am I like I was moving too slow and now I'm moving too fast? Um, yeah. What is going on? Sorry. Brain. I told you it's been a while since I've done voiceovers. Actually, I'm doing 3. This is the 3rd one we're doing today. So I'm like, why did I do this to myself? On Saturday, that weekend. Oh, okay, Friday night. So Friday my mom was probably watching him, and then actually who cares at this point? It doesn't really matter. Um but we asked if he, or maybe there was a reason he had to stay up at my mom's, cuz then we took that opportunity to have a little day date. If you remember, I spoke about it at some point. We tried at least do one um date, like we consider it a date, one date a month, kid free. So this was our date for that month. We went to a shop. We went words. Oh my god, let me reset here. Um, of Aspen is a somewhat local. It's within driving distance. Stationary hobby store, and they had their 6th birthday, so they were having a birthday sale. Um, I bought some alcohol, not alcohol inks. I bought some fountain pen inks and some stickers and other things that day. We had boba tea and Japanese for lunch. Oh no, this was not. This was their day date. Just a different day I'm thinking of. We watched My Neighbor Totoro. I watched it for the first time that I can remember. I feel like I might have watched it before, but I do not remember it. And then I ended the night with some planning time. On Sunday, we picked up Bub from my mom's house. We played with some trains, and then it was a rough night. Usually the first night back is a little bit of a rough night, just because, I don't know, changing location, I guess. He has a home in both places, so I feel like it's probably a rough night when he first goes up there too. So that is the spread. These are the kit leftovers. I hope you enjoyed this whirlwind of a video. Well, it's actually a whirlwind of a voiceover. The video is fine. Um, if you liked the video, please if you enjoyed the video, please give it a little like, leave a comment with any of your thoughts down below. And I would be so happy if you joined my little community here by subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.